I'm so sorry that I had to be gone. My little one is sick, so you get a video me instead of the real me. So yesterday, or 2 days ago actually, you only described the transformations to f of x. So you found a, h, and k. What the a is the number in front. Hopefully we already know this, but I'm going to go over it. A is the number in front, which is just like a 1x. So if there is no number, it's just like a 1. So this means there is no change. H is the number by the x. It's being added or subtracted, so there is no number being added or subtracted. So it's a 0, and that means no change. It's a little confusing because 1 is 1 and 1 is 0, and they're both no changes. But h's and k's are being added or subtracted. A's are being multiplied. So when you multiply by 1, there's no change, and you add 0, there's no change. So now with the k is on the outside, and that's going to be your 3. K's, remember, go up and down, so that means they're going up 3. So k's change the y value because they go up and down. So I am going to add 3 to my y value. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, I'm going to go over that again. So this is what you guys learned the last few days. Now we're going to put it towards the graph. And I am giving you 2 points. So I can graph those now actually. 2, 2, and 4, 6. So there is my point, my graph that I am going to transform. So what we are doing is I'm giving you a function, and then now I'm going to graph the new function. So 2, 2, 4, 6. I graph those, and now I'm going to use my transformations to find new points. So it's easy for this one because I know up 3, I can just, it's up 3 and up 3. Pretty soon we're going to do some stretches and shrinks and flips, and then it's going to be harder to do just on the graph. So that's why I'm doing the tables. X and Y are your original values. The X prime and Y prime, that's how you mathematically say that, is X prime and Y prime. That's going to be your new value. So I probably should have done that in a different color here. I'll just write over it with red. Now X, there's no change here, there's no change here, so there's no change. So this is just going to stay the same. So now my new point is 2, 5. So 2, 5, and 4, 9. Which makes sense because the graph looks like it moved up 3. So this should make sense with the graph. Okay? So we'll do another one. So here we have an A, we have an H, and we have a K. There is no number in front, so that's just 1. There's no change. H, there's a value that's next to the K, X, so that means that's my H. Here, remember, if you, your H person, hopefully in your notes you realize that it's opposite. So if this is plus 3, you minus 3. If you are minusing 3, you are going left 3 units. And there's nothing being added or subtracted, so it's a 0, so there's no change. So I'm going to graph my original 2, 2, and 4, 6. Remember, if you are getting lost, feel free to pause it, rewind, rewatch the video, ask a partner, watch it with somebody. Okay? So, now, no change left. If I'm going left and right, I'm changing the x values. So that's what this is. So I'm going to subtract 3 because that's what I'm needing to move 3 to the left. So 2 minus 3 is -1. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, none of these are changing, so I don't have to change my y value. So those stay the same. So now I graph -1, 2, and I graph 1, 6. And it looks like graph moved 3 to the left, and that's what I wanted. Okay, now we're going to add in a couple things. So here, actually, we're going to do this one. So we're just going to do one again. So a value is the number in front, so that is going to be my 2. If a is 2, you remember from before, it's going to be a stretch. So you are stretching your graph. Now, nothing is being added or subtracted, so those are zeros. So there is no change. Now, when my a, hopefully your A person told you it was a vertical stretch. So vertical stretch meaning I'm stretching it vertically. So that means the x is not being changed, it's the y. So the y is being changed, so you are multiplying by 2. So I multiply 1 times 2 is 2, -1 times 2 is -2, 4 times 2 is 8. And my x, there is no change, so I just write the same thing. So in this case now I have 3 points. So -4, 1, -1, -1, -1, 4. Looks like some teen is running by, so sorry if that is being loud. Some practice is running. So -4, 2, -1, -2, -1, 8. So if you see, it looks the same, but it's stretched. It didn't change the values. All it is changing the y values. It's stretched 2. So we're going to do a few more because I want to make sure that you guys understand. A is in front, so that's a -1. -1, the negative A makes it flip. H, there's nothing there. And K is there's -2. So there's no change here. K negative means it goes down 2. So here let's graph 2, 2 and 4, 6. So there is my original graph. So A, you multiply by -1. But then you also subtract 2. Nothing is changed on the h's, so that means we have a 2 and we have a 4. But now here, so what do you do first? Do you add 1 or multiply negative, or do you subtract? We're going to do order of operations. Order of operations meaning you multiply before subtracting. So 2 times -1 is -2, and I'm going to subtract 2, which is -4. Negative is -6 minus 2, which is -8. So now I graph my new point to -4, and I graph 4, -8. So if you see, it flipped over the x-axis, and it moved down 2. let's see, I'm going to do, I'm going to make that one. So we do all three. So my A is -1, which means it flips. Hopefully we're getting good at this. We've only done one KH, so I've got to remember. So if it's -2, it's going to be a +2, which means it's going to the right 2. K, meaning -4, so that means it goes down 4. So now we have to figure out, well, let's graph. I'm going to graph my original first. -4, 1, -1, -1, -1, 4. Alright, so there is my graph. Now, the -1, I multiply by -1 there. I add 2 here, and then I subtract 4 there. So my A's go with my Y's, my H's go with my X's, because it's going right and left, that's the X values. K's go up and down, that is Y values. Okay, so now that's -2, that's 1 and 1, -1, 1, and -4, and then I need to subtract 4. So you can do it all in your head if you want. I like to do it in 2 steps so I don't make a dumb mistake. So now I graph my points. After, the table is helpful so we don't make mistakes and we know which one goes where. You don't have to use the table, but I think it would be really, really tricky to not use the table. So -2, -5, -2, -5 is right here. 1, -3, and 1, -8. And there's my new graph. So now you guys are going to do just like this. Your homework is going to look just like this. You're going to get a function. I'm going to tell you what points to put down. You're going to graph that, and then tell me the transformations, tell the new points, and graph those new points. If you don't have 2 different color pens, you don't have to use 2 color pens. I just think it's helpful for organizational purposes. But you don't have to use that. You can use pencils as well. All right, and use each other. Talk to each other. Rewatch the video. There's lots of ways you can do it. I will be back on Friday, and we will talk about more things on Friday.